Hello everyone, I'm Otaku Oni-chan. Before we start the video, I hope you can take a moment to press like, subscribe to the channel to support me, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to receive the latest videos. Thank you, and wish you all a great time. Please click on the super thanks button in the bottom right corner of the screen to support our team. Let's continue.
After he tried to activate another skill, there was an explosion. The snakeheads just started exploding like New Year's fireworks, creating waves from the explosions that pushed away everything within a few hundred meters. Yansung landed and finally realized what had happened. This was for the same reason that his attacks were much stronger than they should be with his level of martial arts and skills. The power of the essence was not the same as enhancing magic or martial arts. This power allowed changing reality in accordance with his imagination and desire. He received an epiphany about how to use the power of the essence. This is the power that allowed the constellations, the creatures that reached the maximum of existence, to possess the abyss. Constellations use this power to alter the abyss, create kingdoms, and bestow gifts on followers. As long as the constellation has enough power, they can do whatever they want. Hydra did not understand how he dared to attack her and said she would never forgive him for this. She promised that she would destroy him and crush his brains throughout the abyss. Hydra was a giant soul with a strong will. With his essence power, Yansung could not shake or change her will, but did he need to do it at all? His goal was to change the power of the essence, not the Hydra, but himself. Now that his task was complete, he could use this ability at 100%. The power of Yansung's essence seeped into his materialized ki, and it became a sharp blade capable of cutting not only any monster. He decided not to waste time and tried to use the new ability to cut the body of the Hydra. It worked very well, and his body was sharper than any blade. He could also cut through the accumulation of poison that could interfere with divine regeneration. Yansung needed to get a hold of his emotions and feel like he was in a regular training session. He cut off the heads of the snake and moved so fast that he definitely could not be seen with the naked eye. His goal was to completely defeat the serpent and show who really had power in this part of the abyss. The snakes could not comprehend how they could lose to such a weakling and tarnish their reputation as an invincible monster and lord of the free lands. They decided to flee and hide, waiting for their regeneration to return. But with such a body, it was difficult to conceal themselves, and it was very humiliating. If they couldn't hide, they would definitely perish because neither fire, poison, nor physical force had affected him, and without regeneration, they would simply die. It was a humiliation they had never encountered in 10,000 years. But Choi Yansung was absolutely not going to let them escape to survive and seek revenge on him. He delivered a powerful blow to the very center of their bodies to finish them off. After that, there was a huge explosion that tore the nine-headed snake to pieces. Onyx and his family watched the spectacle, shocked that Yansung had emerged victorious. Yansung managed to escape this hell almost unharmed and destroyed the most powerful monster of the free territory. He considered it a worthy opponent. His skills began to improve again, thanks to this victory. The world resonated with Yansung even more strongly. He inherited the Hydra's karma, divine regeneration. His invulnerable body now regenerates endlessly. Life is strange. As a martial artist, he never thought he would gain many skills, but now he is a completely different person. On Earth, even one such skill would have made him an A-rank hunter, but that no longer mattered if he decided to go beyond the path of a hunter and follow the path of a constellation. After the battle, Yansung met his friend Onyx and was very happy that he had escaped with his family and survived. He asked Onyx if he had changed a lot since their last meeting. He nodded his head. This was to be expected because they had not seen each other for several thousand years. The snake had also changed a lot. He even had a family he was proud of and loved very much. They needed to deal with the dead snake. Yansung asked Onyx if he might need some body parts. Onyx jumped away from him, remembering his past actions. The Hydra's body radiated a poisonous aura. It was dangerous to even touch the snake's body. As Yansung chopped up the Hydra's body, Onyx told the children to never follow him again. Finally, he completely separated the meat from the bone and could calmly move on. However, there was too much meat to take with him, so he decided to just eat all the meat before leaving. Onyx approached him and wanted to give him a gift from himself. He wanted to thank him for saving his family from a Hydra attack. It was an artifact of a subspace necklace, a very valuable item when hiking. He was very grateful for such a gift, and the necklace immediately began to open in his hands. This thing could hold a lot of different items. It saved space very well. The bones of the Hydra could be used to create various objects and weapons, and from the strong scales of the Hydra, you can make armor if everything is very well processed. Yansung could even put his cauldron in there. It was very convenient. He told Onyx that he had collected a lot of adamantium before they saw each other. The adamantium he gave him was still with him because he didn't know how to process it. When he learns how to melt it, he will be able to make himself a frying pan and a board. Onyx decided to present a different stone to Yansung this time, one he found while he was eating ordinary stones. From the moment Yansung decided to become a constellation, he began to see messages from other constellations. He could also see the amount of power possessed by creatures like Varago and the Hydra. The reason he was able to use the subspace necklace wasn't because he himself became smarter and more attentive, but because he was a being who had reached the maximum level of his existence's potential. He could also hear the world talking to him. It was not enriched or calum, metals that radiated pure magical energy. Adamantium was the opposite, a metal that absorbed magical energy. They were complementary. He decided to make knives and cutlery from walnut and a frying pan and board from adamantium. He thought it was a perfect plan. When Onyx talked to his wife, she said that this boy was crazy and she was afraid of him, but Onyx defended him, answering that he was very kind and strong. Even after Yansung put most of the meat in the necklace's vault, there was still some left because the necklace can't hold things endlessly. Just because it's a storage artifact, it also has a certain volume. There was nothing left for him except to simply eat what was left. Onyx was shocked by such a statement from his friend. Yansung loved his friend very much, so he returned to him and said that he would definitely share with him and also give a part to his family. But for some reason, Onyx was very frightened by this, and he jumped away from Yansung several meters very quickly. Yansung had studied cooking for thousands of years, while he was the owner of a demonic pub. His cooking skills were at a fairly high level, but even so, this ingredient was very difficult to handle and prepare correctly. It was the meat of a powerful creature that had survived after refusing to become a constellation avatar, an ingredient that was not found in the Bloodlord's territory. Absorbing abyss monsters gives strength proportional to the absorbed creature, but if cooked improperly, the dish will be highly poisonous. But Yansung was not used to backing down, so this time he decided to stick to his principle as well. For him, preparing a dish from complex ingredients was like a workout. After cooking, Yansung asked Onyx to taste his dish, but he did not have a great desire. He decided to make a tartare because otherwise, it could be difficult for the stomach to digest this meat. The warm but firm voice meant that even here, he wasn't going to back down, especially since he was the savior who killed the Hydra. But Onyx was also quite a powerful creature. He was able to escape from the Hydra but couldn't escape from the poisonous meat that Yansung had prepared. Therefore, he had no other choice. Onyx began to eat the food, and Yansung expected to hear thanks from him, but as soon as he put a piece of meat in his mouth, fire immediately began to fly out of his mouth. In fact, it was very tasty, and Onyx began to offer it to his children and wife. Then he asked if they would like to know why there was no poison in the meat at all because he took care of it, and of course, he could not poison his friend and his family. They were all confused and wanted to know how he managed it. After they tasted this dish, the giant stone snake and his family decided to trust and respect him. From that moment on, Yansung, like a constellation, had followers. He could feel the energy coming from his snake friends. It was a completely different level of power. Yansung finally understood why the constellations wanted to increase the number of their followers, the true reason why the constellations were so interested in the Earth. It was a world with billions of potential followers. Any constellation that captured the Earth would gain an essence power capable of altering the abyss itself. He urgently needed to find a way to return to Earth before the future that the goddess saw came. He looked at Onyx and did not understand what he had cooked incorrectly. Meanwhile, Onyx simply continued to eat even the raw meat. The problem was that Onyx had greatly increased in size, and Yansung thought he might have fed him something wrong. He remembered that some products are not allowed for animals. You cannot give chocolate to dogs and onions to cats. Yansung wondered if Hydra meat was harmful to rock snakes, perhaps damaging their liver or something. Onyx asked not to take the food from him, and Yansung allowed him to eat all that was left. It was cool to be Yansung's friend, but he couldn't stay there. This steadfastness in his personality was the reason the goddess chose him. Onyx brought his friend to a certain place to show him something very interesting. A completely unknown creature was drawn there. Yansung decided to ask what it meant. Onyx began to think about how to properly explain to him who was painted on this stone. He tried to show that this is a very dangerous monster that makes sounds with its mouth. He pretended to listen to him, but in reality, he did not understand a single word or sound. The only thing he understood was that this demon was very dangerous, so he jumped into the abyss without much thought. Yansung wondered if at least some demon could harm him after he visited the Bloodlord's territory. He had lost all desire to fight demons, but now he was told that there was a demon that was stronger than Varago and the Hydra. Therefore, he had no right to stop there and wanted to find him. He was really looking forward to meeting him because he had such a character, and his goal is to constantly find a new goal. He was flying in free fall, and he didn't know where he was going. In fact, it was the territory of the Master of Dreams and Desires. Here, the constellations could watch him, so as soon as he entered this space, they began to watch him. The avatars of the local constellation were already on their way to Yansung to destroy him and prevent him from taking root in their territory. Before he had time to explore the new territory, a squad of avatars from the constellation that owned this territory was already heading towards him. Yansung thought it was a welcome party to celebrate his arrival, but they asked if he was called the Invincible Training Master. He replied that it was him, and they respectfully welcomed him to their territory, saying that they did not plan to cause him any trouble or attempt to kill him. One of the angels said that her master wanted to meet with Yansung in person to ask some important questions. The angels used the ability of soul seduction on Yansung. He was surprised because he had never encountered such skills before. He said it was very rude of them. They immediately apologized and said it was an ability they had no control over. They also knew that their weak abilities would not work on a constellation named Yansung. He was ashamed and said that he was not quite a constellation yet. The angels believed and hoped that he would be able to become a constellation in the near future. He closed his eyes to enjoy this moment. It was the most pleasant thing he had heard in a while. Yansung asked what would happen if he refused the meeting. The angels replied that in that case, they would have to let him go, but they could swear that their master would not harm him. He was interested in what they wanted from him, so he agreed to the meeting. He asked the angel who was guiding him if he had heard anything about the Earth being a separate planet. The angel said that maybe he had heard about it once, that some constellations fought for the gate that led there. The guy grabbed him sharply and asked if he knew anything else, but the angel admitted that these were just rumors, so he didn't know anything concrete. He said his master might know something about it, and that he could ask him on occasion. The angel heard that there were a lot of souls there and said they would be able to help him capture the land, but Yansung replied that he was not going to capture it. On the contrary, he planned to stop the capture of Earth by other constellations. Now the angels considered him not only strong but also noble. These demons were called terrible, but in reality, they were kind, understanding, and friendly, although they could not control their seduction skill. Sometimes demons appeared on their way, demanding to give up their wishes. When Yansung saw him for the first time, he was a little scared. This demon used all his abilities against him, but the angels caught him. He demanded to be let go and was sure that they all also wanted to eat him, or rather his desire. He saw that Yansung had a desire for endless training, and he could not let him go just like that. The demon asked for at least a bite. Yansung asked what it was. The angel was embarrassed and replied that they were weak to other people's desires. He understood that they lived at the expense of other people's wishes, but he himself did not have a great need for wishes. He felt good without a loved one and did not need delicious food, but it worked differently with him, and the angel did not know how to explain it to him correctly. The angel said that his pure and unwavering desire to train was very tempting to the surrounding demons. The angel promised that he would keep his desires under control and he would be safe. He was one of the most favorite avatars of the host, so he could be trusted. They brought him to the master's chamber. They said that when he goes inside, he will immediately see the master. Yansung asked if the angel would go with him. He replied that such an insignificant being could not participate in the conversation between the two constellations. He reminded him that he was not a star, and since he told him everything, he wanted the angel to go with him. It was noticeable that the angel was moved by this and even cried. He said that Yansung was the first person to treat him so well.